Hey, how you going? Hey, look, I just wanted to start off this video with a little bit, I suppose, insight, the difference, and it's a big difference between an Access database, which is pretty much an all-day, everyday tool for many people, versus an Odoo, still database, but when an Odoo module is something more specific. So in here, we've got a number, in Access, we've got assets, contacts, filters, settings, okay? In Odoo, we call it models. So this is, you're creating the software now in Odoo, whereas in Access, you're not creating everything. If we went and we wanted to create a new table, right, here we are, and there's the process and what have you. So now we'd rename it. So this now is probably going to be what I'll call, well, hang on. Well, I don't want that. I don't need that. So, right. So now we can no doubt rename it. Yeah. So, okay. All right. Well, we won't worry about that. But then you've got your fields inside, and we're going to be able to add new fields and blah, blah, blah. In Odoo, it's very similar. So let's just say that this was our database. This model is associated to what I'll call assets. So same one table, many fields. That's probably the best way to say it. One table, many fields. One table. Now let's just open that up quickly. And we start to get a lot more complex here with, we're basically writing what we need to create. So it does become really quite confusing. However, that's where I'm loving this whole vibe coding. So what we'll do in a moment is we'll actually kick off with Sam AI, all right, in my desktop version, and we'll basically build a new Odoo module together. You've got a manifest, which is basically all the pieces that it needs, yeah? If I go back to Access again, you got queries. Well, those queries would normally get built into a Python file. And going back to Odoo, we can have queries built into here as well. Still very, very complex. It's more developer space than it is what I'll call intuitive user. Okay, so let's go back into this one. This is probably going to be just, it's a report. So it's probably going to have, oh, no, I know what this one is. Whoops. These are different tables. These are different tables related to. Let's go back to the base here. So then we've got views. Now views will give us things like in Access, we're starting to talk about form views. Now we could have right now in Odoo, I would converse this around almost like a yes, it's a table in Access. It's a model in Odoo, and when you activate the Odoo module, it actually does create the database, meaning all the tables in PostgreSQL, Postgre database. So that's a whole different world again. But in Postgre, not that I'm going to get too carried away, but because quite frankly, I'm a bit out of my depth in this world as well, and you need special passwords and all those sort of things. So, but here, using PG admin, you would actually start to see the tables for an Odoo product module. In Odoo, it's all configured when you actually install it. And I've been banging on about the community version. So again, we're not going to go into this too deep because I really don't know it that well to be the world leader. So I'm not going to go there for the minute, but no. Well, I won't go there, but basically this is where you would start to see underneath, and then you start to move the tables and what have you. I won't go there, like I say. Coming back, forms. See here, we've got an input form. If we actually, and I don't know, let me just quickly go back to this system. Let me quickly activate this one. So now it's installing. It's basically looking at the manifest file. I'll just go back to the manifest file for a moment. Okay, it's basically saying, here's what it is, here's the models, here's bits and pieces that you need to install, and off you go. So here's my views. It depends on Odoo products already, and it's also going to load up automatically based on another file. See, I told you these are technical. We go back in here, we go back in here. It's going to be looking for this file as well, which tells it to install. See how it's got, bring these ones in as well? So, and I don't know this stuff. I know what it is, but I don't know how to write it either. Okay, let me reiterate that. We go back over here. We would have activated that, so it's ready to go. It would have built us in a menu. No? Oh, no. So now we've got our project going on here. Let's just... So what this module is doing is adding views or forms, okay? So if I go and jump back in, didn't realize that might have been actually. Something's gone wrong. That hasn't installed properly. I won't get too carried away for this one. But basically what we've done is we're now coming up and we're starting to show forms, different types of forms. In that module, all those form views are built in here. So again, it's very, very technical, but I'm going to do, okay, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of code. Now, having said what I've said, I just want to articulate from not necessarily simplicity, by no means, but I've been able to create a suite of products here that I'm calling AI Sam. I've actually built my own software and I got no idea how to code anything. But what I've done is I've actually been starting off with Claude code. So let's just for the moment, we'll start a new session. Okay, I'm going to bring in my, what I'll call developer. Okay, so now my developer is going to be, so what we've done is we've programmed up this, and this is all part of Sam AI. Now he's going to actually be able to tune up what have you. And we're just going to ask him so it's basically, we've got agents are like people in the background, I'll call it. So this one is an Odoo developer. We've programmed it up to be, in effect, Odoo expert, although it's not, because I know it makes a common mistake. And what we're going to do, I can't seem to type and talk. Okay. Now, it's probably a bit vague here. I've just got to get my mind around Now, I know that's just one trick. So again, I don't know how to code, but I've done a lot of this now, so I know where it's going to go wrong. So now let's have a look and just see what it comes back with for the minute. So here we go. So we know what it's doing. So here is what I spoke about, the manifest file. Okay, so it needs that. It needs its init file. Okay, simple models, which is the database in Access. Security. So if you've got security, it's actually in Odoo, you can have many people using it. You might not want to let somebody else access it. So that's a security setting. The list view is almost like Excel, I suppose, to a certain degree. And yes, you can have that in Access as well. Then we've got the form view, like we showed you in Access. Create action and menu. So how are you going to access that when it goes? So you can have the menu item, but you got to have an action item to tell it what to do. Okay, so right, verify, right. So, okay, so it basically looks like it's built the foundations at the moment. So there's our example. It's got the files. I actually don't know where it's putting it. Odoo custom projects. There we go. Beautiful. I must have almost told this thing what to do properly. Create security, so it's creating that CSV file for us now. Okay, you can see it crunching away. It sort of does this here is kind of like settings that go in. It basically rolls up into the Odoo ecosystem, I'll phrase it. So this is an extension to Odoo. It's not a standalone product. It needs Odoo still. So create list view, not true, right? Where are we up to? Getting close to finished. Didn't even count the moments, but it's like, why would you bother when it's so damn easy with vibe coding? So now this is all, because this is my desktop version, which is pretty cool. The other thing is that I've actually done this with AI SAM. So this isn't quite there. But at the same time, I'm actually able to start doing the same thing with this, which is already built into Odoo. Okay, so we're not far off rolling that out. Just come back to what it's doing. Here we go. Okay. Right, so now we're probably going to find that in my folders. Example module. Here's the models. So the models, as we said, was the database tables. Security was the Excel CSV file, rather. Views was a form view and a list view. Now let's see if we can't put it in. So where am I? I have to restart Odoo because it's a new module. I just like to do that. It basically aligns everything. Because I'm on my own desktop, I'm not on the cloud at the moment. I'm on my desktop free version. We come back to our apps. We have to update the apps list. Okay, so it's clean. It's basically pulling in anything new, which again was part of the reason that I stopped and restarted Odoo. It does a fresh scan again. Now, whilst I've got that filter there, Let's see if we can't find. Doesn't always work for me. Sometimes it's taken a couple. There it is. So this is crash and burn time. So let's see if AI has actually done the job for us. How cool is that? Installed it when? I do not know what it came up with as far as menus. Examples. Well done, AI. Right. So now we're going to have it. So this, let's just see what it's come up. Actually, this is a form view right now. Okay. So it was just basic fields as we asked it. Right. Now we can manually save, or it should be able to automatically save, but I just like saves your friend. Now we've got what I'll call a list view. If I put a new one in here, I don't know why I'm doing this, but we'll save that again. Back to our examples. Now we've got a list view coming through. So that's in a snapshot. Like now we start to get a lot more technical and a lot more, but we'll take that for another question time. I just wanted to, yeah, so look, not access, far more powerful. The integration tonight with projects, discuss, calendar. In fact, somebody else was talking to me about inventory. I'm just going to have a quick look for inventory as they were building their e-com site. Right. Okay, so we got inventory control, stock counts, blah, 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 blah. Website sales as well. So you just activate. If we go into this, I just want to maybe share this quick insight. This is what we call dependencies, okay? So it needs, you might have an extension module. You might have an extension module on the top of the CRM. So you've got to include the CRM module so that your custom module builds on top of it. Again, working with AI, the vibe coding is the whole trend word going on, but that's really where you are. And any more questions, give us a yell. Happy to help. Upwards and onwards. Now I just got to find that off button.